Hey everybody, it's Lance Dawson. I am back with my number one amigo, Andrew Stewart, for another episode of Backstage Lowdown. Today, we have musician, songwriter, and activist Richard Todd in studio with us. We're going to talk about Red Path Traffic, his band, and his movement to help the GTA homeless, which in turn will, if effective, is going to help all of us. So I want you guys to all listen to this, find out about it, and he's a really interesting guy, and I absolutely love the fact that he is taking it to the streets, trying to get active, trying to help the incredibly exploding population of homelessness in the GTA. However, before we get to Richard Todd in studio, you need to know that this episode is sponsored by Look Digital Marketing. From stunning websites to full service digital marketing, they help your business shine online. See the difference with Look Digital Marketing? You can visit lookmarketing.ca today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Go today. You know what I'm saying. And also, there's a Bronco behind me. I don't know why. I, we're going to get rid of it for next time. Hey, Richard, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you guys?
I'm
Good.
well. I'm well. My name is Lance Dawson. That handsome guy there is Andrew Stewart.
Nice.
Hey,
Thanks
bud.
for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And well,
Lance
we're
is a
just we're
little
just
technically challenged. He's put
yeah.
a Bronco in his background and has no idea how to turn it off.
We don't like Broncos.
Oh,
No,
no,
we
no,
love
no.
Broncos. It's
Lance
just
has a
that
collection.
yeah,
Oh, all
a
right.
collection. I have I think last week we were on online or doing something and I must have been playing around and said, "Hey, this will be cool." And then I forgot to take it off and I can't obviously do that now. So here we go. Anyway, welcome to Backstage Lowdown.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome to Backstage Lowdown, Richard. Thank you. We're excited to have you because we want to talk all about this initiative of yours, being a musician and looking after the homeless issues in Toronto. And hopefully, all of us can learn something from you because certainly every city has the same issue.
Yeah, great.
So
Excellent.
where did the Forgotten Homeless Project? Where did it start? How did it come to life?
So I was a bit of a homeless advocate some years ago. It
Yeah.
started with a project I had called Warm It Up. And what
Yeah.
Warm It Up entailed was going out into the streets and just giving out gifts to people who needed to come in from the cold. It was in December. It was particularly cold season that year. Giving out coffee cards so they could go into their local coffee shop and enjoy
Great
a warm
idea.
drink for a few minutes. We also added socks to the initiative as well, and we formed a little sock patrol who went out and started giving out socks to people. Yeah, it was great. And the idea actually went viral somewhat. What started as a little initiative here in Toronto grew, thanks to the power of social media, to go all over the world. And I think up to 3,000 people, I think that was the last number that I saw, were helped in one season. And it was just tremendous. The power of social media and people's desire to go out and do something very simple during a time of year, especially when, as they say, need is felt the most. So that's where it started with the Warm It Up Sock Patrol. So several years later, I was in a downtown Toronto bar with my band Red Path Traffic. We were part of a showcase. And there was a young fellow on the stage, 22, 23 years old, just
Yeah.
him and his acoustic guitar playing a song. Sounds great. Looks like you or me, except 22. And he
What are you saying? I don't understand what you're saying. What's he alluding to?
nothing.
That's right.
Yeah, so he was on stage, and at the end of his set, he said, "Does anybody out there have a bed I can sleep on or a couch somewhere? Because I have nowhere to go tonight." And it really was an eye opener to the fact that not only are they the homeless? There's the homeless that we see, the tent encampments
Yeah.
and people on the street, but also the hidden homeless as well, and how it impacted the population, and also the arts community too. I mean, the pandemic was bad enough for the Toronto arts community, the musicians in particular.
Hmm.
Um, but really, I thought, wow, I mean, this is, you would never guess that this young fellow was affected by homelessness, but he was. So it gave me the idea of getting a community of Toronto independent musicians together and singing a song in a "We Are the World" kind of style to not only raise awareness about this growing crisis, but also to raise money and support the unmet needs campaign from Wood Green Community Services, also located here in Toronto, to help do what we can to combat this terrible thing that's permeated our society.
That's incredible. It's funny to me that, well, I mean, funny, not haha, but it's interesting, because you're absolutely right. There is a distinction between the very visible homeless population and then, and so I don't know, I'm not saying it's better or worse. I just think that sometimes it's just exceedingly different when you see somebody and you think they're doing okay. He's here playing in a bar, but still doesn't have a place to sleep that night. I really like your idea though of the Tim Horton coffee cards, the socks, because I know that, when I speak to different people and their different backgrounds, and I'm not judging, I just think everybody has a different idea or level of empathy or whatever they call it. Some people struggle giving money. They don't know what's going to happen with that money, and somehow they feel entitled to say what happens to that money, which is that fine. Um, but I really love the idea of walking around with, $5 or $10 Tim Horton cards in your pocket. I think that's just genius. Um, I don't know if you're aware, but a few years ago I was in Ottawa in the wintertime, only because I had lost my mind. Who goes to Ottawa in the wintertime? Anyway, there's a city of multiple, multiple, multiple statues, right? It's Canada's capital. We've got statues everywhere. And they have a program where they just put toques and scarves on all the statues. So when the homeless people are walking around at night, if they need a scarf, there's one. If they need a toque, there's one. And I just thought this is amazing. So there's some real great initiatives out there, and we certainly want to highlight this one. So that's great. Yeah, I didn't
The
know I didn't know if you'd heard of that, Richard, before.
I,
But
I think I've heard of somebody doing that. It was brought to my attention. But yeah, but you were involved in that, you said?
no, I wasn't involved. I was just there, and I noticed. Because they
Oh,
didn't have,
right.
as far as I know, they didn't have a name, warm it up or anything like that. I think that somebody had just started this initiative, and it was kind of like one of these cool grassroots movements of putting scarves and toques on statues, and a couple of them had signs like, "Hey, if you need it, take it," right? That kind of stuff.
Right.
And all of a sudden, instead of maybe dropping things off at Variety Village or whatever, people were just clothing all these statues, which
Right.
I thought
Uh,
was, I mean, there's always really great ways to help, right?
it really is. But what I really love about this current initiative that we're doing with the Forgotten Homeless is a lot of people, and we had this concern with Warm It Up as well, um, approaching other people to give them a card because sometimes you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get. And who wants to walk? Everyone's busy. Who wants to walk around downtown Toronto, giving things out and spending money during tough times? But this is a great way to help support them by simply streaming a song. You can do it in your car, you can do it at home, you can do it anywhere, and you can do it multiple times because every stream helps support Wood Green Community Services, right? So it's a great way to passively give
Right.
uh, without having to go out and get involved directly if you're not comfortable doing so.
So, Richard, explain that to me. I just want people to understand. So, obviously, Red Path Traffic is involved in this. Are other artists just everybody's contributing songs to this cause so that people can download, and then that download stream goes to the cause? Is that how that's working?
Yes, it's close. We have one song. I wrote a song called The Forgotten Homeless. And as a collective, we're called Artists Against Homelessness. There are 12 other singers involved. So
Okay.
again, think of We Are the World, how someone sings a couple
Right.
lines and it goes down the line, right? Something like that, except without Quincy Jones. But we did have Chris Burkett, who's an amazing, amazing music producer and helped bring the song to life. And yes, when people stream it, the royalties go to Wood Green Community Services for their unmet needs campaign.
Okay. Well, we're gonna make sure that we get all the details of that on our Facebook page and
Awesome.
Instagram stuff, and then afterwards, if you can uh, put people's link to this podcast that you're a guest on, then it'll all
It'll
help.
get out there. I should
For sure.
mention, and I never actually talk about this at all, but Backstage Lowdown, we actually have a Spotify account with a playlist called On Stage with Backstage. And we actually put every artist that's ever been on the show, some of their music onto that playlist. And I've actually already gone on and added your song to the playlist as well.
Oh, thank
So
you.
if people are listening, it's an easy way to find it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Now, like, I don't know if everybody realizes how alarming the homelessness population is in Toronto right now. Like, if you're looking at the numbers in the last 5 years, it is more than doubled, and we're not talking in the hundreds. We're talking like jumping from 7,000 to over 15,000. How has that been, kind of watching that unfold from somebody that's already been involved with the homeless and seeing this dramatic jump? And what do you think is actually causing such a surge in homelessness right now?
That's the $1 million question. I'm not sure anybody in the know really knows, because to me, that surge happened almost overnight. You're seeing tent encampments in places like Guelph and Woodstock and in the outlying GTA. Usually you think that as a big city problem.
Hmm.
Um, but really it's not. You would never even think of small towns having these encampments and a homelessness issue even 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. I'm sure the pandemic didn't help, because I know that was dominating the news for a few years, right?
Yeah.
As homelessness was growing. So what causes it? I don't know. Is it too many people in one large concentrated area? Not enough housing? Is housing too expensive? The resources, are they not there? Is there the political will to actually help? I don't know. I just know it's a growing crisis, and we all have ideas on how to solve it. But I don't know if there's enough. Well, I know for a fact we're not doing enough, we as a society, not necessarily us as individuals, to not only curb it and reverse the trend, but to stop this from becoming just such a more homeless people. Let's just get used to it. That kind of attitude towards it. It's really a shame what's happening. And the sad part is, I don't think it has to be this way, really.
Yeah.
No, I
What?
wouldn't think that it has to be that way either. I think that there's so many variables that you just touched upon. Um, I'm not sure that we can include Guelph, and we certainly have our encampments in KW where Andrew and I are based as well. But I don't think they represent small towns anymore. They've got a huge population burst and high rises and unaffordable housing, as you've touched upon. I think that there's so many things that get mixed up in homelessness. There's mental health issues. There's just simple economics. This person was doing fine a year ago. And I mean, by fine, I just mean their head is at water level. Things change and now they're underwater. Right. And so I don't know if it's a small town thing. And I don't know. I guess maybe that's just it. There's just so much unknown, except for the fact that when you look at the national economics of Canada, there seems to be enough space and money for everybody to eat well, for everybody to have a house or sorry, a home of some sorts. And so here we are. We have an issue where we have a surplus. So there's a disconnect somewhere.
I like that you touched on, it's not just what you would consider, or what some people would consider, what makes somebody homeless, such as mental health issues or addiction issues. It could be anybody. And there are two lines in the song that so many people quote to me. The lines are, the tales that they tell, they being the homeless people, the tales that they tell could be ours as well, meaning this can happen to anybody. And I don't know what this statistic is, but I've read information on how many Canadians are
Yeah.
terribly close to being homeless themselves, right? And we're talking people who might just miss a bill payment or a mortgage payment, and then they're sleeping in their car. They lose their job and they don't have enough savings to maybe carry themselves through a period until they can find something new, if they can, because the job situation is something else, another entire issue completely. Um, and just like, again, going back to the young fellow on stage, I don't know what his background was or what his situation was, but certainly it can happen to anybody. It can happen to any one of us, and that's really the, I think, the alarming fact. But we all need to realize this in order to help curb this trend, I think, anyway.
No, I would agree. There's a number of people that you come across that have jobs and they're just a a viably person in society, but then they go through a divorce and it may or may not be amicable, but both of those people, one's living upstairs, one's living downstairs because they can't afford, they would be homeless if they left their house. Do you know what I mean? Like they can't afford on their own to get another house.
Sure.
And so they have this situation that until the finances are all sorted out, we have to live together because there's no options. Because if without that, then I become part of this population. And so you're right. That just points out to the fragility of it. It is not just a mental health issue. It is not just a I'm too lazy to get a job issue or whatever story people tell themselves. This has a very real impact on people that are just living on that line, right?
Yeah, and that's interesting because that could be another factor, the breakdown of the family, right? The high divorce rate. What is causing that? That can also lead to homelessness. There's so many streams into this great ocean of a problem that it's such I don't know what the solution is. We might have to go back and maybe revisit what kind of values that we have, that we can protect the family, that we can protect our jobs, we can keep housing affordable. Right now, I think, and I don't know how political we get on this podcast, but I hear a lot of talk, but I don't see a lot of solutions. So what we're trying to do as a musical community is come up with our own solutions and try to help on our own, no matter what that looks like. If we can get one or two people off the streets into safe somewhere where they're safe and they're warm and they're comfortable, really, it makes the whole effort worthwhile.
Yeah. I gotta just grab a soapbox for 30 seconds. And I always find it so interesting that when there are times of need, people are always quick to cut the arts. The arts programs are always the first to go. And musicians don't traditionally walk around with $100 bills falling out of their pockets. And yet it's always seems to be the artsy or the artistic community that is trying to help the homeless. Do you know what I mean? It's like I really I support this a lot. I just want to draw people's attention to, hey, what about a few tech billionaires? How about you guys throwing some weight behind this project, that kind of stuff.
Sure, well, I'm all for that.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always the artists, it's always the musicians that are often first to respond to an issue like this.
I think we're
Um,
last responders. I
yeah.
don't know if you'd call us first
Well,
responders. We're last responders, really. I don't know. And addressing the high divorce rate, Richard, holy cow, if you had to live with Andrew like 5 minutes, God, his wife's a
I
saint,
I am
really.
challenging.
Yeah,
I
he's
am
so challenging.
challenging. Um, what I guess just trying to think about it, what is maybe something that a listener could do immediately to affect change? And then what is something that perhaps they could do to affect change long term? Because it's not going to be solved overnight, but perhaps we could change some people's lives by starting now.
Well, streaming the song is a great start because
Yep.
Wood Green has a great program, their Unmet Needs campaign. So the more streams we get, the more people we can help. And as we probably all know, I don't want to name companies, but streaming the royalties from there aren't, you're not going to buy a pool with your first single, right? I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of streams to accumulate any kind of meaningful change. So please, if listeners can stream the song over and over, that would be great. They can go to the Wood Green website learn more about the unmet needs campaign, and make a donation privately there to help support the good work that they do. In terms of long term, honestly, all I can say is to engage with the people who have control of these issues and who can control the direction of how our communities are run and influenced. And that would be obviously lawmakers, possibly corporations as well. By partnering with some corporations, we can make a change. But certainly with lawmakers, definitely I think they need to be influenced to really, really find the solutions. And honestly, I think the solutions are there. I mean, Toronto's getting the World Cup next year, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many homeless people are going to be on the streets then. So
No,
this,
You're right.
but
I think the
historically, I
solution,
think they get shipped out. I know Vancouver shipped out a lot of homeless people to Kelowna.
right,
So if that's
right.
a trend, yeah, and I hope it's not. I hope there's maybe more of a solution than that.
Yeah, so we need the long-term solutions, but we also need to influence the political will for people to actually come up with solutions, and not even just come up with them, but implement them as well, right?
Right.
And I'm not leaning towards any political side here.
No,
I'm
for
just
sure.
saying in general, um, let's get to work and let's stop talking and let's actually do something now.
Hmm. No, I would agree with that. That's fantastic. Maybe the World Cup, instead of having, volunteers that already have jobs, we could tap into the homeless population that are capable of doing jobs for the World Cup and maybe not make it volunteer. Maybe get some money flowing their way so that gets them, these are the ones that, like I said, were recently homeless or not, you know what I mean? And we could at least take a percentage of that and help out. So,
Yeah, give them opportunities if they're not working right now to act as ambassadors to the city or in some other capacity to elevate them
yeah.
as well out of the situation that they've unfortunately found themselves in. So, I mean, it takes a lot of empathy, I think, and I think the arts community is very empathetic to speak back to that point about how musicians and arts in general, they're one of the people who first communities to jump on board with these things. And I think it's because as songwriters, we feel, I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
blessing or a curse, but certainly if we can use it to do good things, then it's certainly a blessing.
Well, historically, songwriters and poets, etc., reflect sort of the sign of the times, right? So, wartime, there was always wartime songs, wartime poetry, that sort of thing. So, songwriters are, in my mind, no different really than reporters, that sort of thing. They just report it differently, So, what you're
Sure.
writing, it's always a sign of the times and reflecting what's going on.
It's interesting because there are songs from World War One and World War Two that are sad, but they're also quite patriotic, especially in World War Two. And as Vietnam,
Yeah.
as a lot of the folk artists started thinking or looking at Vietnam and commenting on that, then the tide changed a little bit, right? Into more socially conscious issues. The environment is another big one. I think Graham Nash was one of the original environmentalists out there. Um, so certainly, yes, I agree. It's a sign of the times, and it's really great. The power of music has forever been able to affect change, especially in change in attitudes, right?
Mhm.
Maybe not change in terms of policy, but in change of the way people feel about things. And if you get enough people behind something, then that can affect policy, right?
Right.
Um, so it all starts with all movements starts with a vision. Um, so hopefully this vision will either result in something or influence someone else to take action that also makes an impact.
Right. Have you had any commentary from those that are being directly affected, those that are homeless since you've started the Forgotten Homeless Project?
No,
Nope.
I haven't. No. But from the people who have heard the song, they love it. They're behind it. They're behind the cause. Um, and really, I'm not in it to get accolades. I'm just really here to help, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean
And
that's clear since like you've been involved with the homeless and searching for solutions for a very long time. This just isn't an over the like kind of overnight thing. and it's just not, it isn't just you. Um, Maybe you can speak about some of the other folks, some of the other artists that have been involved with the project with you and how they've contributed.
Oh, sure. I mean, we've had a wide range of artists from all different backgrounds to who contributed to the song, and they've been sharing it on their social media, and they've been
Yeah.
doing interviews when they can, and they're all yeah. But to be honest, it's great that they had their support, that they were giving their support continually. But for me, it meant so much that they spent their time to come out, sing on the song, come back, film the video, um, just because they wanted to help and believed in the cause, right? And everyone worked so frightfully well during production. You know, no egos. It was fun. So honestly, I mean, the fact that they did that was enough for me. But it's just a bonus when they continue the advocacy as well.
Right. Where does Richard, do you know how it works? So people are going to stream this song, and then there's money raised. The streaming platform then pays the artist, in this case, you and the group that recorded this. So then what happens? How does that get down, filtered down to the homeless, or does it go to soup kitchens? Does it go to like what happens?
It goes to Wood Green for their unmet needs
Oh, it goes,
campaign,
okay,
right?
okay.
And
So
that,
then,
yeah,
right.
yeah, and
And
then
then they disseminate. Okay, got it.
they do it. And I don't know if it covers what you mentioned, but it's really just to get people into supportive housing or transitional housing. It's just to get them off the streets, get them somewhere
Right.
safe. You know, that's where the money
Okay.
goes. So yeah, so the money, the streaming platforms, when they pay out, it comes to me. It goes to Wood Green.
Yep. Okay. No, I think that's fantastic. I just didn't know whether it was like just Wood Green or does Wood Green represent different organizations, that sort of thing.
Right.
But that's fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
really great.
Sure. I'll write another song for the soup kitchens if they want. I don't mind. Or anyone really. I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to help, and we're all in this together to really help strengthen our communities, right? Because in my opinion, anyway, when everyone has an opportunity to prosper, it helps community. Everyone benefits, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
No, that's
you
true.
could maybe you could speak to what homelessness means, because that 15 plus thousand, that isn't just people necessarily that are on the street, and I'm not sure that everybody necessarily understands that. Maybe you could walk us through the difference.
Well, it's definitely people from all walks of life who wind up without somewhere to sleep for many different reasons, whether it's a woman escaping domestic abuse or a
Mhm.
teenager getting away from a terrible home life, whether it's someone who's working but sleeping in their car, or which is another example of the hidden homeless. Nobody knows they are. They show up for
Yeah,
work every day, but they're sleeping in their car or they're sleeping on someone's couch, right? I mean, I've heard stories of people who they have a sibling. They did not know that the person was homeless. They're just sleeping on various couches and they show up for Thanksgiving dinner, right? But they
yeah.
had no idea this person was in that. So I don't think there's one face to homelessness really, because again, it can happen to everyone. And in the song, we talk about three different stories of people who have found themselves in the situation. And again, it just shows that it's something that is just endemic and crosses all lines. The stigma of mental health issues and addiction issues, which are prevalent in homelessness, there's no question. We have to get away from that and understand that there are other people as well, uh, in addition to them, that need the support too, right? So
Yeah.
that's what it looks like to me. There's no one face, there's no one picture. It's just such a myriad of stories out there that it's mind blowing, really. And again, it can happen to almost anyone.
It's a really good point because certainly the encampments are the ones that get on the news. The encampments are in the newspapers, they're on TV. And so those are the ones where people are looking at that population, and it's a
Sure.
mixed population, mental health issues, drug addictions, abuse, that sort of thing. Um, but it is super important that people understand that there's all sorts of different versions of homelessness, but that's not getting on the news. No one's showing, a business person or anybody, that has a job sleeping in their car. So,
Yeah, I don't know why that doesn't make the news. Maybe it's you'd have to ask a journalist that question. Why show this and not that? I don't know
Well,
the
I think
answer.
there's an inherent privacy issue because that person who has the job and lives in the car is empowered enough to protect that privacy,
Yeah,
right? And they may not want people to know, hey, I have a job, but I don't have a home or even a place to sleep. So I think I'm guessing that there's a want to sort of keep that to themselves, which is not helping
yeah.
the overall cause, but
Yeah. It's a great point. I did see a documentary once when they were interviewing people who were sleeping. I think it was a Walmart parking lot, and it was somewhere in the States. But they all park in a corner of the parking lot overnight, and they sleep there. It's really just to look out for one another, and then they go to work the next day, right? They find
right,
a gym to go shower in, and they'll eat snacks at work. Um, so yeah, if the stories are willing to be told, but you're right, they might not want people at work to know that they're in a certain situation. So it's
right.
that's a good point.
What
I,
should
I
Any, yeah.
people do that are actually in that scenario in terms of finding their own wood green community center or services? Like, I it, do what do they need to be looking up online? Who do they need to be reaching out to actually to take advantage of those services?
well, I would go to the Wood Green website. That's what I would
Yeah.
recommend if they have the resources to do so. Definitely go there. And if they don't have the answer, they'll certainly direct the person to where they should be uh, forwarding their query.
Yeah, at the
Hmm.
bottom of the show, if people happen to be listening to this and want it, I will include the website for the Wood Green Community Services. So just if somebody needs to ever pass that along, it will be there.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Richard, tell me what, on another note completely, what's next for Red Path Traffic? Because if people are in and around the Toronto area, we should at least throw some support but behind these guys that are trying to do so much for the community at large. So what's Red Path Traffic doing?
Yeah, so we have our website up, redpathtraffic.com, and you can visit that there and see all of the upcoming shows that we have. We play everywhere between Burlington, and I think we're going to Whitby soon, and in Toronto, of course. So come out and see a show. We also have, I think it's almost 100,000 streams on Spotify of we're at 11 singles, 10 or 11 singles now, and we have another one coming up called Two Bites that's going to be out in the next couple of weeks. So please keep an eye out for
Oh,
that one as
awesome.
well. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. Well,
Hmm.
we'll thank the members of the band as well. So it's Richard, but the other guys in the band have thrown their weight behind this cause as well. So I think
For sure.
that's fantastic. So if you're in the Toronto area, well, I guess you guys play other places than Toronto, yes?
Oh yeah, all over the GTA. We've been as far away as Burlington. I think that's the longest we've driven.
Whoa,
And
Burlington, that's crazy talk.
Well, I mean,
that's
that might
crazy.
be anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, depending on how traffic is on any given night.
Yeah, no
Yes.
kidding.
Yes. Andrew and I made our way into the GTA a couple of weeks ago. And we were like, I was telling Andrew, I was 12 kilometers from the bar that I was playing at, and it took me over an hour to get there. And Andrew
It
had to talk me off a ledge when I got there. I was like, what the heck?
well, that's what they say about Toronto. Toronto is an hour away from Toronto.
Yeah.
You know.
I love it. Listen, Richard,
Richard.
we
Oh,
always
yeah,
we
go ahead.
always like to wrap up our show just with a quick rapid fire round, just to so people can get to know you a little bit better. We'll all judge you for your answers, but it's
Awesome.
just simple answers, just shoes or boots. Then you choose boots, that sort of
All
thing.
right. All
So
right.
let's start it out. Audio or video,
Audio. Audio.
lyrics, notebook, or laptop,
Laptop.
rehearsal chaos or on stage nerves,
On stage nerves.
dialogue or action.
Oh, action, definitely.
Minimalist stage or full production design.
You get one before the other, but I'll go with minimalist.
Writing in silence or with music.
Silence.
Rewrites or first drafts.
Rewrites.
An actor's perspective or audience's reaction.
Actor's perspective.
Standing backstage or sitting front row.
Standing backstage.
And last but not least, What's more powerful, a laugh or a tear?
A laugh.
And that has been another episode of Backstage Lowdown.
Wow.
Richard, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you,
guys for
Richard.
having me.
I really
Much-
appreciate it.